Shabbat Shalom. I'm be starting in a few minutes. Bear with me. Hope everybody's having a great Shabbat. Off on the West Coast yet. We're still gonna get. It'll come in as we teaching, an understanding of deception and deceit. Yeah. And to water for joining me. The Shabbat night. We're gonna be getting started very soon here. As I said, we're gonna continue on deception and deceit, and a lot of the things that we have been caught up in as a people, and some realize it and some don't want to change. Some don't know and they're here and they still want to remain the same. So it's not for everyone, that's for sure. It's not for everyone to know their way out of darkness. And that's why I say, hear the prayer of the dead Israelites, it says. Wow. That's something when you think about it. But it's real because that's how the Most High look at us. So all praise and glory to the Most High power, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It's always I'm going to start with Colossians 3 and 17. And whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all by Shama Mashiach Yahushai. Give me thanks to the Most High power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob for everything. Because you worthy to be praised for everything. I say hallelujah, 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 hallelujah to his glorious and holy name. So all that we say and do is going to be in the name of the anointed Savior, of Mashiach Yahushai. We give thanks to the Most High power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Jacob being the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Simeon, Zebulun, Ephraim, Manasseh, Gad, Reuben, Naphtali, Asher, and Issachar. Those 12 tribes. That's what we say the power of now and forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. You know, but everybody else want to grab a hold to him. That's why I guess they have this doctrine of how he is, you know, a Mashiach Yahushai. The Mashiach Yahushai is him. You know, so they have to really deal with the reality of the Most High is the power of Abraham, who had a son named Isaac, who had a son named Jacob, who became the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel. Point blank, no more, no less. You know what I mean? And it is what it is. I mean, even Amashiach Yahushai identified the Most High as his name, as he told us in Exodus 3:15 and 14. He said in Matthew 22, let's look at verse 31. He said, but as touching the resurrection of the dead, have you not read? What would you read it at? What would you read it at? You have to read it in the Old Testament. Have you not read that which was spoken unto you by the Most High, saying, I am the Most High power of Abraham and the Most High power of Isaac and the Most High power of Jacob? The Most High is not the power of the dead, but of the living. So we're going to try and talk to the living, you know, and hopefully the dead will hear and awake from being in a dead state of mind to be able to become a part of the living tonight. Most High will, you know, but we got to look at it like we was going into, you know, our ancestors, how they were, how they had to deal with certain things, and, you know, different accounts in the Bible where, you know, they didn't tell the truth. They didn't really, you know, go with the reality of what it is that is the truth, you know, or they twisted some kind of way to be able to, you know, survive. against the enemy. Depends on what situation it is, And one thing for sure, like just like Esau and Jacob, the Most High said that the first child gonna be a servant to the next child. And Esau came out first, so he had to be a servant to Jacob, who was the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel. You see? And how the Most High did it, because a lot of people, in Christian insanity, and I'll say that literally because, really insane, because when you look at uh Christianity, coming from that word creature, it means a poor fellow, it means also um an extremely stupid person. Look it up for yourself, and that's how they have dumbed us down. Why it says Most High is not the power of the dead, but of the living. So either you of the dead or you of the living. Which one do you choose to be? And that's how people are. They seem to settle for being a part of the dead instead of the living. And the Most High is not their power, because it's too much to learn and too much to be able to understand, and dealing with how he have this Bible coded so that it's not for everybody to get. He don't want everybody to get this. It's not for everyone. Just because you read this Bible mean that Most High is down with you. No, Most High do the calling, and he allowed on my side to do the choosing. You understand? And it's the highest calling you could be called to understand what this Bible is talking about. It's the highest calling, and to realize that, some things that we're going to go into, have I've been going into, how it's been tampered with also, and how the prophecies of what's going to happen is going to happen. That's why you got to be ready, so you ain't got to get ready. But if you trying to get ready when the time you're supposed to be ready, it's too late. It's going to be too late. That's why it's very important that we see this, and man, we come into this light, man. We become the living and stay the living, and don't ever go into the dead. Look at Judges, the 3rd chapter. We're gonna go into a little more about ancestors and what they went through. Judges, the 3rd chapter, and look at verse 5. So we get a little understanding of, we as a people didn't just come into captivity, coming over here into this Western Hemisphere. Because when you read the Judges, there's a lot of captivities that you can read that we're in. Okay. So Judges 3:5, it says, and the children of Israel dwelt among the Canaanites, Hittites, and Amorites, and Perizzites, and Hivites, and Jebusites. And they took their daughters to be their wives, and gave their daughters to be their sons, and served their idols, their gods. When the Most High told us in Deuteronomy 7, and that's all praise to the Most High. Oh, so much you turn the Bible and go right there. Deuteronomy 7, he told us, Deuteronomy 7, and we started verse 1, we're going to concentrate on verse 3 and 4. It says, when the Most High thy power shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and have cast out many nations before thee. You can see some of those nations that we just read about in Judges 3 and 5, and we right here. Most High cast these nations out before us, going to the promised land. The Hittites, and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. You see? This is what the Most High did. He said, and when the Most High thy power shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them. That means we should kill them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant, no agreement, no contract with them, nor show mercy unto them. Mercy is not getting something you do deserve to get. Thus say the Most High. Power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. What do he say? Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. That's the law. We're not supposed to be marrying other nations outside of our 12 tribes. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. Why? So he's saying we are supposed to give our children to these other nations. That's interracial marriages. Now you got to show me where the Most High ordained that, and it's okay, because the world today say, hey, you like them, just go with it, against the laws of the Most High. Listen what he said. Why are we not supposed to go with these other nations? He said, he said, neither shall thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. Why? For they will turn away thy son from following me. That's the law. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods, other idols. Remember, Psalms 96:5 says, for all the gods of the nations are idols. Well, he said we're not supposed to be dealing with marrying these other nations because all their gods are idols. He said, for they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods, other idols. So will the anger of the Most High be kindled against you and destroy these suddenly? That's what he told us. He's going to be angry with us to be with these other nations. So somebody lying to you to say it's okay in this world now. That's why they say you can't follow the law. Nobody can follow the law. Why? Because they don't want you to be able to come back to the Most High. And our people, they remember they are the dead. Most High ain't dealing with them. He ain't dealing with the dead people. He said he only the power of the living. And the living gonna be looking at what the Most High said to do and do it, point blank. But thus shall ye deal with them, verse 5. You shall destroy their altars and break down their images and cut down their groves and burn their graven images with fire. He said, why? For thou art an holy people. Power. The Most High thy power have chosen thee, we as the Israelites, to be how special above all people. That just 3 and 5. 3 and 5. They say, this is why I went to the law to show you what we did. Canaanites, Hittites, and Amorites, and Perizzites, and their wives. You see how that's against the law? Gave their daughters to their sons and served their gods of these, or the idols of these other nations, man, all these different religions and so forth. Most High never gave us religions. It's the same thing that we're dealing with here. And the children of Israel did evil. You gonna tell me that you can marry anybody and that's righteous? And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Most High and forgot the Most High their power as it is today. And forgot the Most High their power. Hear that? We did evil in the sight of the Most High and forgot the Most High our power as it is today. And served Baalim and the groves. And now you serving Lord. They just changed, put Lord there. I mean, I got to keep showing it because one day somebody going to hear and somebody going to relate to what it is that we done before. And you look at these people know what they're doing. You don't know. You see that Baal? You see what it means? Lord. And it's all throughout the Bible. They put it all throughout the Bible. And we still doing it because we still calling on their God that they set up, that they worship. You don't know it because you think Lord is Most High, is Mashiach Yahushua, or whoever you think it is. They know because they the ones that publish the Bibles and put it in there. We didn't put it in there. They put it in there. The ones that publish the Bibles, the superpower of the earth, the elite. You hear what it said? Verse 7, and the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Most High by marrying other nations, women, and sons, and forgot the Most High their powers. He told us it's going to happen. We forgot the Most High our power and served Baalim and the groves. We serve Lord today as it is. I just showed you what it means. Therefore, the anger of the Most High was hot against Israel, and he sold them into the hand of Shushan Rishathaim, king of Mesopotamia. And the children of Israel served Shushan Rishathaim 8 years in captivity. Why? Because you believe the lie. You believe the other nations more so than the Most High. And when the children of Israel cried unto the Most High, they ain't cried to the Most High being prideful. We didn't cry to the Most High being prideful, so we had to humble ourselves. And he humbled us. And when the children of Israel cried, it's a solution, y'all, unto the Most High raised up a deliverer to the children of Israel, who delivered them, even Thachniel, the son of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother. You know, Joshua and Caleb, the only one that brought us out of the wilderness, the only adults. Killed everybody else. We came out 600,000 strong army. Killed everybody but Joshua and Caleb in a 40-year period. So this is Caleb's younger brother. And the Spirit of the Most High came upon him, and he judged Israel and went out to war. And the Most High delivered Shushan Rishathaim, king of Mesopotamia, into his hand. And his hand prevailed against Shushan Rishathaim. What is Shushan Rishathaim? And the land had rest 40 years. See that? We had rest for 40 years. You know, Othniel, the son of Kenaz, died. And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Most High. Deceptive. You think you're going to deceive the Most High? And the Most High strengthened Eglon, just like it, the king of Moab, against Israel, because they had done evil in the sight of the Most High. You see, understand this. Because a lot of times, you know, you read the scriptures and you look at evil that's coming from the Most High, and you say the Most High is evil. No, he's not evil. In Isaiah 45:7, Isaiah the 45th chapter, verse 7, it says, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil, right? I, the Most High, do all these things. So when you understand, when you do something that's against his law, statutes, commandments, you draw evil to you. See, initially, we were all righteous. We did what he said to do. And what happened? He said, what did he tell the Adamites? What did he tell Adam and Eve? He said, don't eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. We didn't need to know about evil. But when you look at, okay, well, you know, just like it is now, some of y'all might be still revert to the world, how it was in the world, you know, back to that world, whereas you was wicked, you wasn't really knowing the truth, and you wasn't not righteous, no way, shape, or form, but you result back to that because that's what it was presented. What else you going to do? People come and go, but where they go back to? They go back to their world, to the world. The world say, hey, come on. The world accept everybody. Like Satan will take anybody, just like you are. Come as you are. Don't matter. But the Most High got rules and regulations. You understand? And we followed those rules and regulations to the T. We were living to be living forever. We were immortal. But then when we ate of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, we brought that evil in. Now you drew evil to you. So he said, hey, you're going to die. That's why we died. That's why it says, when you draw evil to you, then the Most High send a judgment. You be righteous, then you be blessed. He said, I mean, it's real simple. You just read Deuteronomy 28, the first chapter to the 14th verse. He said, you do what I say do, I'm going to bless you. If you don't, I'm going to curse you. I'm going to bring these curses on you. See, the anger of the Most High came upon us. Why? Because we did evil. You brought evil to you. So now when you brought evil to us, then you're going to get a judgment. That's just simple. Huh? Just like the child do something wrong, then you punish them one way or another. Or you do something wrong at Esau's kingdom, what are you going to do? He going to pat you on the hand? No, not us. We're going to be dealt with. There's a judgment. There's a punishment. Simple as that. Going back to Judges 3. You know, we thinking we're going to deceive the Most High. Like some of you out there think you're going to deceive the Most High. No way. No way. Better understand. Look, let's look at Judges 3:12. And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Most High. Remember, the Most High's eyes are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of man, and even the secret parts, right? So ain't nothing we could do that he ain't seeing. And the Most High strengthened Eglon, the king of Moab, the indigenous Chinese against Israel because they had done evil in the sight of the Most High. And he gathered unto him the children of Ammon and Amalek. So that's like, look, that's the Chinese, that's the Japanese, and that's the Jewish people today. The Edomites, the Amalek, Edomites. Listen. And he gathered to him the children of Ammon and Amalek, and went and smote Israel and possessed the city of palm trees. So they took us down. Who? The Chinese, the Japanese, and the Jewish people. Moab, Ammon, and Amalek joined together. 3 nations bringing us down, right? So the children of Israel served Eglon, the king of Moab, the king of the Chinese, 18 years. But when the children of Israel cried unto the Most High, which is a solution, in humility, the Most High raised up a deliverer, Ehud. We'll talk about Ehud, the son of Zerah, a Benjamite, a man left-handed. And by him, the children of Israel sent a president to Eglon, the king of Moab, right? So they sent Ehud, to the king of Moab, president, right? Check this out. But Ehud made him a dagger, which had 2 edges of a cubic length. And he did gird it under his raiment, under his right thigh. So he made him a dagger and he put it on his right thigh, right? Hid it under his right thigh. Let me say that. And he brought the president to Eglon, king of Moab. So he's bringing him a present. So, a present makes you feel like somebody really like you. And he brought the president to Eglon, king of Moab, king of the Chinese. And Eglon was a very fat man. He was a very fat man. And when he had made an end to offer the present, he sent away the people from that bear the present. So when he offered the present, he sent away the people that, that had brought the present, that Israel had, given Ehud to give to, Eglon, send the people away, right? But he himself turned again from the quarries that were by Gilgal and said, I have a secret errand unto you, O king. So I got a secret errand for you, O king, who said, keep silent. He said, keep silent. If it's a secret, the king said, oh, keep silent. I don't want nobody to hear it. And all that stood by him went out from him. So everybody that was around him, he got rid of them, right? And Ehud came unto him, and he was sitting in a summer parlor, which he had for himself alone. And Ehud said, I have a message from the Most High unto thee. And he arose out of his seat. And Ehud put forth his left hand. Remember, he put that dagger in his right thigh. Hid it in his right thigh, right? So, and he was left-handed. So Ehud put forth his left hand and took the dagger from the right thigh and thrust it into his belly. Fool. Man. I think about a dagger. I would love to have a dagger that's like a 6-point shield. Can you imagine? I don't care where that sucker land, it's going to hit you. It's going to cut straight open. Because it got 6 points on it. Woo. And Ehud put forth his left hand and took the dagger from his right thigh and thrust it into his belly. And the heart also went in after the blade. The haft went in after the blade. Everything. It probably had a handle on it. Everything went into him. He threw it so hard. That dagger went all the way into his stomach. And the fat closed upon the blade. You hear that? He was so fat. It went inside him, the fat just closed up on the blade so that he could not draw the dagger out of his belly. And the dirt came out. You know that? And the dirt came out. Filthy McNasty. The dirt came out. Ugh. Then Ehud went forth through the porch and shut the doors of the parlor upon him and locked them. So he closed them in. When he was gone out, his servants came. And when they saw that, behold, the doors of the parlor were locked. They said, surely he covered his feet in his summer chamber. He's just chilling. And they tarried till they were ashamed. And behold, he opened not the doors of the parlor because he finished. He's dead. Therefore they took a key and opened them. And behold, their ruler was fallen down dead on the earth. Finished. And they would escape while they tarried and passed beyond the quarries and escaped unto Siserath. Yeah. And it came to pass when he was come that he blew a trumpet in the mountain of Ephraim, and the children of Israel went down with him from the mount, and he before them, and he said unto them, follow after me. He said, follow after me. For the Most High have delivered your enemies, the Moabites, into your hand. And they went down after him and took the fords of Jordan toward Moab and suffered not a man to pass over. And they slew of Moab at that time about 10,000 men, all lusty and all men of valor, meaning men of war. And they escaped not a man, killed every last one of them. So Moab was subdued that day under the hand of Israel, and the land had rest 80 years. When we had 40 years, now we had 80 years. The score is 20. We had rest for 80 years. And after him was Shamgar, son of Anath, which slew of the Philistines 600 men. Tell me we ain't powerful. Shamgar, the son of Anath, which slew of the Philistines, these Hamath, was shy, sit up right like they take down all our leaders. Nothing to do under the sun. Everybody that seemed to be coming up and doing certain great things, they come after them every time. But we got to be smart. We got to read this Bible and find out what it is that worked and what didn't work. And don't do the same thing. Don't get caught up in the same madness. Entice him, they told Delilah, and see where in his strength lieth, his great strength lieth, and by what means we may prevail against him, that we may bind him to afflict him. Hear that? And we will give thee, every one of us, 1,100 pieces of silver. So she sold them out for 1,100 pieces of silver. Every last one of them said they're going to give her 1,100 pieces of silver. And Delilah said to Samson, tell me, I pray thee, wherein is thy great strength lieth? And where wilt thou might be bound to afflict these? It's old saying, everybody have a price. You see, that's her price. That's her price. You say, everybody have a price. What's your price? You got a price to be a sellout? That's the mindset of the other nations. They say everybody have a price. And they offer you this money and you take it. That's what you see a lot of celebrities involved in. They can't get out of it. They done took the bait. They took the bait. Now they caught up in whatever it is they're going to have to do within their wicked worlds. So she would have known about the strength. So you get this 1,100 pieces of silver from each one of them, right? So she plotting against them, you see? And this is what we look at can happen to anyone that's not really focused on, what it is that we see in here in this Bible. And if you don't know, you should inquire to know so that you don't make those mistakes as others made in the Bible. And the result is death. Result is, what is the result? Anger of the Most High is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. It's serious. As serious can be. She want to know his strength, his great strength. Samson said unto her, if they bind me with 7 green whips that will never dry, then shall I be weak and be as another man. So he's telling the truth or he's telling a lie? He lied. Then the rulers of the Philistines brought up to her 7 green whips. See how she going back telling them? She a snitch. She a sellout for that money. And that's how they think. Everybody have a price. And she bound him with them. Now there were men lying in wait, abiding. They waiting. We gonna get them. With her in the chamber. And she said unto him, the Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he brake the whips as a thread of tow is broken when it touches the fire. So his strength was not known. Delilah said unto Samson, behold, thou hast mocked me and told me lies. See? We talking about deception. Now tell me, I pray thee, wherewith thou mightest be bound. And he said unto her, if they bind me fast with new ropes that never were occupied, then shall I be weak and be as another man. Delilah therefore took new ropes and bound him therewith and said unto him, the Philistine be upon thee, Samson. The first time you should have knew. How you gonna let her do it over and over again? But here it is, the Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And there were liars in wait, abiding in the chamber. And he brake them from off his arms like a thread. And Delilah said unto Samson, hitherto thou hast mocked me and told me lies. Tell me wherewith thou mightest be bound. So you shouldn't get caught up in nothing like this, man. Because you see what happened twice. And he said unto her, if thou weedest the 7 locks of my head with the web. And she fastened it with the pin. So he had 7 locks. And she fastened it with the pin and said to them, the Philistine be upon thee, Samson. And he awakened out of his sleep and went away with the pin of the beam and with the web. And she said to him, how canst thou say I love thee when thine heart is not with me? Wow. When your mind is not, how can you say you love me? Your mind ain't with me. Thou hast mocked me these 3 times and hast not told me wherein thy great strength lieth. It came to pass when she pressed him daily with her words. Tell me where your great strength is. Tell me what your great strength is. Tell me where your great strength is. Just bugging him and urged him so that his soul was vexed unto death. She was getting on his nerves so bad. So his soul was vexed unto death that he told her all his heart and said unto her, there has not come a razor upon mine head. For I have been a Nazarite unto the Most High from my mother's womb. If I be shaven, then my strength will go from me, and I shall become weak and be like any other man. And he done told her his secret. And when Delilah saw that he had told her all his heart, she sent and called for the rulers of the Philistines, saying, come up this once, for he hath showed me all his heart, all his mind. Then the rulers of the Philistines came up unto her and brought money in their hand. And she made him sleep upon her knees. Think about this. That's why the scripture said, give me any wickedness but the wickedness of a woman. What did it say? And she made him sleep upon his knees, her knees. And she called for a man. And she caused him to shave off the 7 locks of his head. And she began to afflict him. And his strength went from him. And she said, the Philistines be upon thee, Samson. And he awoke out of his sleep and said, I will go out as at other times before and shake myself. And he risked not that the Most High was departed from him. You see that? That's why you have to really be, because it's very important, that you look at this and you look at what works and what doesn't work when you read the Bible. Because the Most High departed from him. You hear that? And you got to go back to what the Most High told Adam. And men and women have to understand this, because you have to make the right decision. Because it could be in your life. It could be, death to you, or the lake of fire. You don't know. That ultimate punishment. What he told Adam in Genesis 3:17. And you see what happened just now with Samson and Delilah. Genesis 3:17. And unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it. Curses the ground for thy sake, and sorrow thou shalt eat of it all the days of thy life, and so forth and so on. The curse that he put upon him, because what did he say? The first thing he told, this the first judgment upon man. He said, because thou hast hearkened, listen unto the voice of thy wife. And this is what Samson did. He listened to the voice of this, what he said. And it's very important, because we look at Judges 16:4, you said that it came to pass afterward that he loved a woman in the valley of Sereph, whose name was Delilah. That's something. Like Adam probably loved Eve. And the man got to look at, okay, we love it, but we got to make the right decision, because it could be detrimental. Look what happened to him. Judges 16:21. But the Philistine took him and put out his eyes. They put out his eyes, y'all, and brought him down to Gaza and bound him with fetters of brass. And he did grind in the prison house, put him to work, man. That's why you got to look at this, man. You got to take in all the information and make the right decisions, brothers and sisters. You got to look at not being like this, not being a sellout, not, because we got something that's so miraculous beyond what you see in here. Ain't nothing that we can see here is compared to the kingdom that's prepared for us, man. You could ask somebody. Nothing. When I say nothing, I mean nothing compares to this is nothing but concrete jungle. Look at 2 Samuel 16 and 15. And Absalom and all the people, the men of Israel, came to Jerusalem, and Ahithophel with him. And it came to pass when Hushai, the Agagite, David's friend, was come unto Absalom, this King David, his son Absalom, that Hushai said unto Absalom, Most High saved the king. Most High saved the king. And Absalom said to Hushai, is this thy kindness to thy friend? Why wentest thou not with thy friend? And Hushai said unto Absalom, nay, no, but whom the Most High and his people and all the men of Israel choose, his will I be, and with him will I abide. So he's like saying, hey, I'll be with whoever the Most High choose and the children of Israel choose. And again, whom should I serve? He said again, whom should I serve? Should I not serve in the presence of his son as I have served in the Father's presence? so will I be in thy presence. Right? Then said Absalom to Ahithophel, give counsel among you what we shall do. And Ahithophel said unto Absalom, go in unto thy father's concubines. Wow. And Ahithophel said unto Absalom, go in unto thy father's, that's King David's concubines, which he hath left to keep the house. And all Israel shall hear that thou art abhorred of thy father, you are hated of your father. Then shall the hands of all that are with thee be strong. Wow. Look, in Exodus, the 20th chapter. What does the law say, man? Verse 14. It says, thou shalt not commit adultery. This is own fathers, wives, man, concubines, man. It's wicked, man. Tell him to go into his own father's concubines. Then shall the hands of all that are with thee be strong. Verse 22 of 2 Samuel 16. So they spread Absalom a tent upon the top of the house, and Absalom went in unto his father's concubines in the sight of all Israel. You think about that, you know, because the world we're in now is a different, totally different world. Now, I'm quite sure, you know, these women had a choice to say, no, you can't touch me. I'm King David's woman. You would have said? Verse 22, 2 Samuel 16, so they spread Absalom a tent upon the top of the house. And Absalom went in unto his father's concubines. Not concubines, but concubines in the sight of all Israel. And the counsel of Ahithophel, which he counseled in those days, was as if a man had inquired at the oracle of the Most High. You know the Most High said that. So was all the counsel of Ahithophel, both with David and with Absalom. Wicked, man. Totally wicked. Go back to 2 Samuel 13. And we'll punch it. Man, you see why we're in the condition we're in, right? I hope you do. Man. Look at 2 Samuel, we're going to read chapter 13, verse 24. And Absalom, the same Absalom, David's son, came to the king and said, behold now, thy servant has sheep shearers. Let the king, I beseech thee, and his servants go with thy servant. And the king said to Absalom, nay, no, my son, let us not all now go, lest we be chargeable unto thee. And he pressed him, you know, getting on his nerve. Let me do it. Let me do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Howbeit he would not go, but blessed him. Then said Absalom, if not, I pray thee, let my brother Amnon go with us. And the king said unto him, why should he go with thee? Why you want him to go with you? Said, why do you want him to go with you? But Absalom pressed him that he let Amnon and all the king's sons go with him. Now, Absalom had commanded his servants, saying, check this out, mark thee now when Amnon's heart is merry with wine. Once he drinking a lot of wine, this is brother. And when I say unto you, smite Amnon, then kill him. Fear not. Have not I commanded you? Have not I told you? Be courageous and be valiant. And see, there's a reason why I did it, because when you go to verse 1, it tell you in 2 Samuel 13:1, and it came to pass after this that Absalom, the son of David, had a fair sister. When you say fair, that means he had a beautiful sister whose name was Tamar. And Abner, the son of David, loved her. He loved her. And Abner was so vexed that he fell sick for his sister Tamar. You hear that? He loved her. Looking at her sister, she was beautiful. He loved his own sister. And he fell sick for her, his sister Tamar, for she was a virgin. And Abner thought it hard for him to do anything to her. But Abner had a friend whose name was Jonadab, son of Shemaiah, David's brother. And Jonadab was a very subtle man, very slick and sneaky man, crafty. And he said unto him, why art thou, being the king's son, lean from day to day? Wilt thou not tell me? And Abner said unto him, I love Tamar, my brother Absalom's sister. See, that's like Absalom's mother, who was King David's son. She had a daughter, Tamar. Well, you see, men had more than one wife. So here it is. She's a sister because she's from his father with another woman. But he looking at her, how beautiful she is. He want to have sex with her. And he went to this wicked. You see how you're looking at how we are as a people, and you look at why would you do this, why they like this, because this is where we come from. This is the same people that you read about the Bible that you see that's operating in this day and time now. Verse 5, and Jonadab said to him, lay thee down on thy bed and make thyself sick. You know, this dude is, he's like the devil. He's like, let me keep it real. He's like the devil. I mean, he's sneaky, he's crafty, he's cunning, slick, and all that. He said, hey, and Jonadab said unto him, lay thee down on the bed and make thyself sick. Pretend like you're sick. Deception, lies, deceit. And when thy father cometh to see thee, say unto him, I pray thee, let my sister Tamar come and give me meat and dress the meat in my sight, that I may see it and eat it at her hand. Have her make me something to eat. I'm sick. He playing like he's sick. You telling him, this devil telling him, hey, did what you do. So Abner lay down and made himself sick. And when the king was come to see him, Abner said unto the king, I pray you, let tomorrow my sister come and make me a couple of cakes in my sight, that I may eat at her hand. Then David sent home to Tamar, saying, go down to thy brother Abner's house and dress him meat. So you see, she being identified as his sister, David's daughter. So Tamar went to her brother Abner's house, and he was laid down. And she took flour and kneaded it. And now she a virgin, and made cakes in his sight, and did bake the cakes. And she took a pan and poured them out before him, but he refused to eat. And Abner said, how out all men from me? Have out all men from me. And they went out, every man from him. So he got rid of all the men that was around him, right? And Abner said unto Tamar, bring the meat into the chamber, that I may eat of thine hand. And Tamar took the cakes which he had made and brought them into the chamber to Abner, her brother. And when he had brought them unto him to eat, he took hold of her and said unto her, Come lie with me, my sister. What did he say? Come have sex with me, my sister. And she answered him, no, nay, no, my brother. No, my brother. Do not force me, for no such thing ought to be done in Israel. Do not thou this folly. Man, that's cold. And I, whither shall I cause my shame to go? And as for thee, thou shalt be as one of the fools in Israel. Now therefore I pray thee, speak unto the king, for he will not withhold me from thee. Howbeit, he would not hearken unto her voice, but being stronger than she, forced her, raped her, and lay with her. He forced himself on her and raped her, his own sister. Then Abner hated her exceedingly. He done raped her, now he hating on her. Exceedingly, not just hating her, exceedingly. Wicked. So that the hatred wherewith he hated her was greater than the love wherewith he had loved her. And Abner said unto her, rise, be gone, get out my face. After you done did this to her, done raped her. Get on, get out my face. And she said unto him, there is no cause. This evil is sending me away is greater than the other that thou didst unto me. But he would not hearken unto her. And he called a servant that ministered unto him and said, put now this woman out from me, and bolt the door after. And she had a garment of diverse colors, different colors upon her. But with such robes were the king's daughters that were virgins apparelled, a certain, robe of colors that the king gave his daughters that were virgins, had never slept with a man. Then his servant brought her out and bolted the door after her. And Tamar put ashes on her head and rent a garment of diverse colors that was on her, and laid her hand on her head and went on crying. She tore that garment up because she wasn't no virgin no more. She wasn't worthy to wear it. And Absalom, her brother, said to her, has Amnon, thy brother, been with thee? But hold now thy peace, don't say nothing, my sister. He is thy brother. Regard not this thing. So Tamar remained desolate in her brother's Abner's house, Absalom's house, Salakia. But when King David heard of all these things, he was very wroth. And Absalom spake unto his brother Abner, neither good nor bad. For Absalom hated Abner because he had forced his sister Tamar. He had raped his sister Tamar. Wicked, man. Now, Lord, y'all don't want to hear that because ain't nothing really sweet and kind and loving. This is who we are. Understand this. When you see people be like they are, this is who we are. And it came to pass after 2 full years that Absalom had sheep shearers in Baal Hazor, which is beside Ephraim, northern Israel. And Absalom invited all the king's sons. And Absalom came to the king and said, behold, now, we read this already. The servant has, sheep shearers. Those that's going, shear the sheep. Let the king, I beseech thee, and his servants go with thy servants. And the king said to Absalom, nay, my son, no, my son, let us not all now go, lest we be chargeable unto thee. And he pressed him, kept on getting on his nerve to let it happen, albeit he would not go, but blessed him. Then said Absalom, if not, I pray thee, let my brother Abner go with us. Yeah, let me get him. And the king said unto him, why should he go with thee? But Absalom pressed him that he let Abner and all the king's sons go with him. Now Absalom was commanded, he commanded his servants, saying, mark ye now when Abner's heart is merry with wine, when he's full of wine. And when I say unto you, smite Abner, then kill him. Fear not. Have not I commanded you? Be courageous and be valiant. That's right. And the servants of Absalom did unto Abner as Absalom had commanded. And all the king's sons arose, and every man got him up upon his mule and fled. They got out of they ran. And it came to pass while they were in the way that tidings came to David, saying, Absalom has slain all the king's sons, and there was none, not one of them left. Then the king arose and tear his garments and lay on the earth. Look how hurt he would be. That's just like when they when our brothers, the patriots of the 12 tribes, told our forefather Jacob that Joseph, had got eaten up by a wild animal and brought his coats of many colors to him with blood that he had there got from an animal and put on it, and all that long time that Jacob suffered and felt, the death of his son, and they had sold him to the Arabs, Ishmaelites, and they sold him to the Egyptians, Hamites. And that's when the famine came. He had to go in there and face him. Same thing, man. It's like bringing that sorrow, man, and not even knowing the whole story, Then verse 31, then the king arose and tear his garments and lay on the earth. And all his servants stood by with their clothes rent. And Jonadab, the son of Shemiah, David's brother, answered and said, let not my ruler suppose that they have slain all the young men, the king's sons, for Abner only is dead. So he told the truth. Somebody told him all his sons have been put to death. So he told him the truth. Only Abner is put to death. His wicked butt that raped Tamar, his sister, Absalom's sister. But by the appointment of Absalom, this has been determined from the day that he forced his sister Tamar. Now they've been finding out. Oh, what? He raped my daughter? Now therefore, let not my ruler, the king, take the thing to his heart, to think that all the king's sons are dead. For Abner only is dead. But Absalom fled. And the young man that kept the watch lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there came much people by the way of the hillside beside him, behind him. And Jonadab, this wicked sinner, said unto the king, behold, the king's sons come. As thy servant said, so it is. It came to pass as soon as he had made an end of speaking that, behold, the king's sons came and lifted up their voice and wept. And the king also, and all his servants wept very sore. But Absalom fled and went to Talmai, son of Ammihud, king of Geshur. And David mourned for his son every day. So Absalom fled and went to Geshur and was there 3 years. And the soul of King David longed to go forth unto Absalom, for he was comforted concerning Abner, seeing he was dead. Man, that's our story, man. That's cold-blooded, but it's real. Second Kings 5:20. But Gehazi, this wicked sucker, man. Let's look at this. This is when Naaman he was sent to Elisha. He had leprosy. Let me show you what leprosy is. It's in Leviticus 13th chapter, in the long Leviticus 13. And we look at verse 2. When a man shall have in the skin of his flesh a rising, a scab, or a bright spot, and it be in the skin of his flesh like the plague of leprosy, then he shall be brought unto Aaron the priest, or unto one of his sons to preach. And the priest shall look on the plague in the skin of the flesh, and when the hair in the plague is turned white, and the plague in the sight be deeper than the skin of his flesh, it is a plague of leprosy. And the priest shall look on him and pronounce him unclean. That's like what they call today vitiligo, like what they said Michael Jackson had, vitiligo, but it's called leprosy. If the bright spot be white in the skin of his flesh, and in sight be not deeper than the skin, and the hair thereof be not turned white, then the priest shall set up him that hath the plague 7 days for a whole week. And the priest shall look on him the seventh day, and behold, if the plague in his sight be at a stay, meaning it's not having spread it, and the plague spread not in the skin, it ain't went over the skin. Like you see people that have leprosy, like a lot of times it's in prominent places, like over the eyes. You can see it, like it'd be like your face is colored, but you see it's just like your uh the palm of your hand or the bottom of your feet. That's leprosy. Your, this is leprosy, and the bottom of your feet is leprosy. Like white people, they are clean lepers because they lepers from the head to the toe. You see what I'm saying? And it says, and the priest shall look on him the seventh day. You're losing your pigment and melanin. And behold, if the plague in his sight be at a stay, I mean, it's still the same as it was when he first looked at it before the week, when it started, it said, and the plague spread not in the skin, it ain't spread nowhere else. And the priest shall set him up 7 days more. So now this is second week, right? And the priest shall look on him again the seventh day. And behold, if the plague be somewhat dark, the plague spread not in the skin, it ain't spreading all over his skin. You know what I mean? Like you looking like white spots all over you. You know what I mean? And it's spreading, but it's not spread. It said, if the plague be somewhat dark, and the plague spread not in the skin, dark, so you gotta be dark for it to be, before you're able to see that it's like this, right? If it be dark, like going back to the color of your regular skin, you notice this, not white, but dark. What it says, um, if the plague be somewhat dark, and the plague spread not in the skin, the priest shall pronounce him clean. It is but a scab. It's just a scab. And he shall wash his clothes and be clean. Now, when you read verse 30, it says, then the priest shall see the plague, come on, leprosy. And behold, if it be in the sight deeper than the skin, and there be in it a yellow thin hair, like blonde hair, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a dry scald, even a leprosy upon the head or beard, right? So blonde hair is not good. So going back to 2 Kings 5, so you understand, we dealing with deception and people living in deceit and doing the things that contrary to being righteous and doing the right thing. They're lying, right? Um, let's see. Look at 2 Kings 5 and 9. It says, so Naaman came with his horses and with his chariot and stood at the door of the house of Elisha. And Elisha sent a messenger unto him saying, go and wash in Jordan 7 times. Naaman has leprosy, right? So Elisha told Naaman to go wash in the Jordan River 7 times, and thy flesh shall come again to thee, and thou shalt be clean. So go wash 7 times, your flesh gonna be turned back to normal. You're gonna get pigment and melanin back in your skin and not be leprous. But Naaman was wroth and went away and said, behold, I thought he will surely come out to me and stand and call on the name of the Most High his power and struck his hand over the place and recovered the leper. Are not Abana and Farbar, rivers of Damascus, better than all the waters of Israel? Look at this. He telling them how to cure himself from leprosy. He talking about his rivers that's in Damascus, better than the rivers. That's a river that the Most High love. Waters of Israel, may I not wash in them and be clean? So he turned and went away in a rage, got an attitude. And the servants came near and spake unto him. Shake some sense into you, dude. They came here to him and said, my father, if the prophet had bid thee do some great thing, wouldst thou not have done it? How much rather then when he said to thee, wash and be clean? You hear what he said? He said, go into the Jordan, and wash yourself 7 times, and this leprosy gonna be gone. That's why I say that you gotta look at the mindset how people are. And they got this mindset, why I can't come over here to where I'm at? The waters of Damascus not good enough. Why I gotta go get in the Jordan River? He said, hey, how much rather then when he said to thee, wash and be clean, then when he down and dipped himself 7 times in the Jordan, according to the saying of the man of the Most High, and his flesh came again like unto the flesh of a little child, and he was clean. See that? His pigment came back, his melanin came back, like a little child. It says he was clean, and he returned to the man of the Most High, Elisha. He and all his company came and stood before him, and he said, behold, now I know that there is no power in all the earth but in Israel. Now, therefore, I pray thee, take a blessing of thy servant. Let me give you something. Make sure, that that I appreciate you doing this. After you had an attitude, now you done changed up, now you see that the Most High is the power of Israel and rolling in that Jordan River. But he said, as the Most High liveth, before whom I stand, I will receive none. So you can't give me nothing. I don't want nothing. And he urged him to take it, but he refused. See that? That's the Most High. Most High did that. See how he did? That's what he said. Hey, look, as the Most High liveth, he the one that done it. Why should I take any credit for what it is the Most High done? And that's the mindset we have to have. But, people look at, oh, wow, look what I did. They did that, I did this, I did that. You did nothing. You what he said? The Most High did. As the Most High liveth, before whom I stand. See, he told him, I stand before the Most High. He done prayed, the Most High healed him. He done said, if the prayers for him to be healed, how you gonna take the credit for it? That's why somebody ought to understand this, man. It's like, all the thing y'all need to be saying is all praise to the Most High. How you gonna take some credit for something? Y'all can't tell me, oh, well, that was great. That's this, that, that. All praise to the Most High. I ain't wrote no scripture. I ain't wrote none of this. I have understanding, a little bit, but I can't take no credit for nothing. What scripture you wrote? What scripture's chapter and verse your name? Or what is it I've learned to do, and he showed me to do? I ain't learning on my own. That's what he's saying. Listen, man, he's powerful. He told Elijah, give me some of that power you got before Elijah went up in the chariot, right? He said, man, if you be here whenever I go up in the chariot, man, I'll give you a double portion of what I have. Gave him his mantle, man. He got a double portion of Elijah, man. Understand this. You hear what he's saying? He got power. He got power. He said, hey, but he said, as the Most High liveth, and the Most High liveth, before whom I stand, I will receive none. And he urged him to take it, but he refused. He refused to take anything. Listen, it's very, very important. Naaman said, so that not then, I pray thee be given to thy servant 2 mules, burden of earth, but thy servant will henceforth offer neither burnt offering nor sacrifice unto other gods, other idols, but unto the Most High. You know? He said, I'm only going to sacrifice, do what I'm going to do. Going to praise the Most High. And this thing, the Most High pardon thy servant, that when my ruler go up into the house of Rimmon to worship thee, and he leaned on my hand, and I bowed out myself in the house of this idol. When I bow down myself in the house of this idol, Rimmon, the Most High pardon thy servant in this thing. He asked for repentance. And he said to him, go in peace. So he departed from him a little way. But Gehazi, you got to hear this, because this is wicked sucker. But Gehazi, the servant of Elisha, the man of the Most High, said, behold, my ruler has spared Naaman this Syrian. You see, Naaman is a Syrian. He's not an Israelite. He's a Syrian. And that's where we come from. We come from Jacob and 4 Syrians, women, and Joseph and 2 African or Hamites. Well, he had his 2 children came from a Hamite woman, I'll say. Ephraim and Manasseh. So this Gehazi, this Syrian, and not receiving at his hands that which he brought, but as the Most High liveth, I will run after him and take somewhat of him. So Gehazi in his mind said, hey, I'm going to run after, Naaman. This didn't take it. I'm going to run after him and get something. I'm going to get something. He going to give me something. That he offered Elisha, right? And Gehazi followed after Naaman. And when Naaman saw him running after him, he lighted down from the chariot to meet him and said, is all well? Everything okay? And he said, all is well. My ruler have sent me. And the reason why I'm saying ruler in place of master, because I got to go back to when you look at baal, let me underline it so you'll see. These are the things that they implanted in the Bible, and is still dealing with calling on their idols, their gods. See that? I underlined it. When you see baal is Lord and master. You see that? I hope you see that. So that's what I'm saying, ruler. If let me show you reason why I'm doing that. And if you hear us, let's share the wisdom. We're not saying the names of these gods, these idols. Because he told us in the law, Exodus 23 and 13, it says, and in all things that I have said unto you, be circumspect, be cautious, and make no mention of the name of other gods. You hear that? He said, make no mention of the name of other gods, neither let it be heard out of thy mouth. Right? So they put these, especially baal, representing Lord and master. Right? So that's why you hear me saying replacing, you might be looking at it, and I'm replacing those words with something else beside that idol, baal, or, the words that it means, in Lord, master, and so forth. So now going back to 2 Kings 5 and 21. So Gehazi followed after Naaman. And when Naaman saw him running after him, he lighted down from the chariot to meet him and said, is all well? Everything all right? And he said, all is well. Everything all right. My ruler, you see, I'm replacing that master with ruler because that means baal. Okay? And they put it in here so you be calling on their idol, their God. Has sent me, saying, behold, even now. So he said, Elisha sent him, right? Is that the truth? This is what he said. Keep this in mind. My ruler, talk about Elisha, has sent me, saying, behold, even now there become to me from Mount Ephraim 2 young men of the sons of the prophets. Give them, I pray thee, a talent of silver and 2 changes of garments. You hear that? He lying on who? The man of the Most High, Elisha. That's why it's amazing how, I have different case scenarios in the Bible and in life where people, they don't really look at you as being who you are and dealing how we deal in this truth and so forth. It's be like you're like anybody else or worse than anybody else. And you'll see the result. I've seen many results, man. It's sad, but it's real. And here it is. He's lying on Elisha, telling Nahum, he said, hey, there's 2 young men of the sons of the prophets. Give them, I pray thee, a talent of silver and 2 changes of garments. And Nahum said, be content, take 2 talents. And he urged him and bound 2 talents of silver in 2 bags with 2 changes of garments and laid them upon 2 of his servants. And they bare them before him. So he took all the things that he gave them. And when he came to the tower, he took them from their hand and bestowed them in the house. Took everything he had got from Naaman and put them in his house. And he let the men go. Y'all go home. And they departed. So he got everything that Nahum gave the 2 men. Gehazi had it, put it in his house, right? But he went in and stood before his ruler. You see, I'm replacing M-A-S-T-E-R with ruler. And Elisha said unto him, whence comest thou, Gehazi? And he said, thy servant went no whither. I ain't been nowhere. And he said unto him, went not mine heart with thee? Didn't my mind go with you? He said, did my mind go with you? I said, what do you think? I said, did my mind go with you? When the man turned again from his chariot to meet thee, I said, don't you know? My mind went with you. When the man turned again from his chariot to meet thee, is it a time to receive money and to receive garments and olive yards and vineyards and sheep and oxen and men servants and maid servants? He said, the leprosy therefore of Naaman, the leprosy that Naaman had on him, shall cleave unto thee and unto thy seed forever. That's why when you look at just looking at someone and saying because they look like a Caucasian, they might not necessarily be no Caucasian. I met people that say they look just like Caucasian. They say they're not Caucasian. You hear what he just said? He said, the leprosy, therefore, of Naaman shall cleave unto thee, or cleave unto you, Gehazi, and unto thy seed forever. So some of these people are Syrians, but they look like Caucasian because that leprosy cleaving to them, he said, forever. Hope y'all heard what I said. He said, the leprosy, therefore, of Naaman shall cleave unto thee and unto thy seed forever. And he went out from his presence a leper. How he looked? As white as snow. He went from his presence a leper as white as snow. It's real, man. That's why when you look at spiritually and you in tune with the Most High, when you really in tune with the Most High and you look at how the things operate and you operating in the spirit with him, you could look at this, man. This is really powerful because look how he says. He says, such a man, this is Salakia. This is Ecclesiastes 23 and 19. It says, remember he said his mind went with him, right? And a lot of times people don't realize the operations of how the Most High operates spiritually when you operating with him and you're in the spirit with him. This is Ecclesiastes 23:19. It says, such a man only feareth the eyes of men, and knoweth not that the eyes of the Most High are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men, and considering the most secret parts, right? So Gehazi thought he was doing something in secret, right? But the Most High looking at him, he see exactly what you think is being done in secret. So now that the Most High seen him do this, then what does he do? Because you heard Elisha say what? He said, where you come from? Gehazi lied. He said, no, with it. I ain't been nowhere. In verse 25 of 2 Kings 5th chapter, verse 26 said, he said to him, went not my heart? He said, went not my mind with thee? Because the heart is the mind. What you think, your thoughts. When the man turned again from his chariot to meet thee, right? So he said his mind went with him, right? So the eyes of the Most High are 10,000 times brighter than the sun. So these are the things that, I think a lot of people miss in not understanding how spiritually this works, because it tells you in Amos 3:7, so we know that the eyes of the Most High are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men and even the secret parts. Then Amos 3:7, it says, surely the Most High power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob being the forefathers of the 12 tribes of Israel, will do nothing but reveal his secret unto his servants, the prophets. You see that? So we see, like I said, he see everything that's done in secret, but he revealed his secret that he see with his eyes being 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men, to his servants, the prophets. He revealed things. He'll show you things when you really tapped into him. You really talk about him, you really into him. That's why it says, man, I mean, this is how this works. And we know the servants are who? It ain't anybody. Look at Isaiah. Isaiah 44 and 1. Who the servants? Who have to be a prophet? You want to be a prophet? You have to be a servant of the Most High. This is what it says. Yet now hear, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen, right? He told you in verse 21, Isaiah 44:21, remember these, O Jacob and Israel, for thou art my servant. You see? So that's when you look at Amos 6:7, when the Most High seeing what he see, then he come back and say, hey, surely the Most High power, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that's his name forever and memorial to all generations, will do nothing but reveal his secret unto his servants, the prophets. That's why Elijah is saying what he's saying. It's his mind with him because the Most High revealed it to him. And that's how the Most High operates. But people will be like, oh, everybody's the same. Everybody's the same. Most High reveal a lot of things. And people be doing things, be thinking nobody see them. Like, that's them. I did a lesson on that. You don't see me, people. Look at the Mashiach El Shai. Look at Matthew 22. And verse 14, he said, for many are called, but few are chosen. See, there's many people called into this truth, which is the most powerful thing on the earth is the truth. Understand this. Nothing's more powerful than the truth. Y'all gotta understand this. Nothing's more powerful than the truth. And we say we in the truth, but we gotta operate as if we are, you know, knowing that there's nothing more powerful than the truth. Look at this in um, First Ezra, the 4th chapter, and we're gonna look at the 34th and 35 down. But this is it's like a bet, and the bet was, you can read the whole thing. It says, who's the strongest, the king, or wine, or women and truth? It was three individuals that came to the king, and it said, what's more powerful, the king, wine, or the one said the king, the next man said wine, and the next man said women and the truth. And they spent a lot of time talking about women. If you want to know about women, just go and read about the woman. The woman got the most attention. I'll say that. Therefore, that we'll find out what's the strongest thing in the earth. Then we'll find out what's next. So now we go into First Ezra 4 and 34. O ye men, are not women strong? Great is the earth, high is the heaven, swift is the sun in its course. For he compasses the heavens round about, and fetches his course again to his own place in one day. You know, the sun goes around in one day. So, is he not great that maketh these things? Therefore, great is the truth, and stronger than all things. See that? The greatest is the truth, stronger than all things. All the earth calleth upon the truth, and the heaven blesses it. All works shake and tremble at it, and with it is no unrighteous thing, right? Wine is wicked, king is wicked, women are wicked, all the children of men are wicked, and such are all their wicked works, and there is no truth in them. And their unrighteousness also they shall perish. You know that? And their unrighteousness, not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, they shall perish, he said. So they shall perish, meaning they're going to be put to death. As for the truth, it endureth and is always strong. It liveth and conquereth forevermore. With her there is no accepting of persons or rewards, but she doeth the things that are just, and refraineth from all unjust and wicked things, and all men do well like of her works. If you keep this truth, man, and follow what it is that the Most High telling us to do in his laws, statutes, and commandments, neither in her judgment is any unrighteousness, and she is the strength, kingdom, power, and majesty of all ages. Blessed be the Most High power of truth, because he the one that brought forth the truth. We know, class, what the truth is when we read Psalms 119, 142. Let's sing it together. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. Point blank. It says, verse 41, and with that he held his peace. And all the people then shouted and said, great is truth and mighty above all things. There it is. So ain't nothing more powerful than this truth. We say we in the truth, you gotta understand. That's why it said, Matthew 22:14, my shy words, he said, for many are called, but few are chosen. Then with the Pharisees and took counsel how they might entangle him in his talk. They was always trying to find a way to entangle him in his talk so they could put him to death. And they sent out unto him their disciples with the Herodians, saying, ruler. See, there it is again. You see, I showed you what it means, what that means, that master means, right? Let me show it to you again. Some of you might be just coming in here. That's why I'm not saying it. They put it in the Bible. You see what it means? master, Baal. That's who they worship. Lord. Put it in the Bible for you. Yeah, keep showing it to you. Put it right there. So you're gonna be calling on Baal. Mm-hmm. We know that thou art true and teaches the way of the Most High in truth. You know that? Mashiach said, taught the way of the Most High in truth. His law, such commandments, because he did not sin. Neither carest thou for any man, but thou regardest not the person of men. Hear that? You say, Mashiach said, you had no respect to persons of men. You could care less, man. He said, tell us therefore. Remember, they're trying to catch him in his speech. What thinkest thou? Is it lawful to give tribute unto Caesar or not? We deal with deception. They're trying to catch him up in his words, trying to deceive him, trying to get him to commit to something that they can charge him with. Tell us therefore, what thinkest thou? Is it lawful to give tribute unto Caesar or not? Is it lawful to pay taxes to Caesar or not? But the Mashiach said, perceive their wickedness, see? They're trying to be deceitful, trying to catch him up, in his speech. And said, why tempt ye me, ye hypocrites? He said, why are you tempting me, you hypocrites? Show me the tribute money. And they brought unto him a penny. And he said unto them, whose is this image and superscription? Whose face is on this penny? They said to him, Caesar's. Then said he unto them, render therefore unto Caesar the things which are Caesar's, and unto the Most High the things that are the Most High's. When they had heard these words, they marveled and left him and went their way. They had to go get away from him. Had to get away from him, you know. But you look at, we as a people, we always trying to find a slick way to look at someone and try and find something wrong with them. Something wrong, instead of looking at what it is you can gain from the knowledge and understanding that is coming out. But they always, when you read the Gospels, they always was coming after him. Some kind of way of trying to corner him up and get him to sin or do something wrong, or be able to have something to be able to have, like there, go to Caesar. He said it's not right to pay taxes. That's the tribute money, is taxes. Look, show you how they work. Go to Mark, the 14th chapter, the first verse. Wicked. After 2 days was the feast of the Passover and of unleavened bread. And the chief priests and the scribes sought how they might take him by craft and put him to death, you see, by craft. That's deceit. Slick, crafty, cunning, how they might put him to death. He had to deal with this every day of his life, pretty much. Because remember, they knew who he was, trying to trick him all the time. He had to deal with this. But they said, not on the feast day, lest there be an uproar of the people. So that feast day is the 15th, because they got him on Passover. Understand this? Everybody came together on the 15th, that next day, to honor the Most High delivering us from Egypt. You see, just like we just read earlier about all the captivities that we was in, and the Most High sent a deliverer to get us out of our captivity. You know, remember Ehud? He took that dagger and threw it into that fat Moabite king, Elon, and dirt came out, and we was able to take down the victory, have the victory over our enemies. You know, many a times, man. You hear what they said? But they said, not on the feast day. That's the 15th of the first month, not the 14th day of the first month. That's the Passover. The 15th day is the Feast of Unleavened Bread. That's when it starts the next day. And that's when the people come together, because everybody, when they got him, it was on the Passover. Everybody, having a Passover meal in the house or wherever they having it at, As the Most High said, we're supposed to do it. The next day, everybody came together. By the time the next day came, he was already in the grave, He was already in the grave. When they came together for the next, they heard about it. They heard, whoever heard about it, it was just so many people that was there saying, crucify him and let his blood be on us and on our children. They're the same people that's here right now that won't come back to him or don't really understand what they're supposed to deal with and coming back to him. That's why you see these people that they just don't believe in him, because they are the ones that said, hey, that vow they put out, that his blood be on us and on our children. And they're the children of those that made that vow. It's simple to me. It don't make, take no rocket science to figure this out. They put that vow on them. While you see those that they would not, they won't believe in the Mashiach Yahushua. But they said, not on the feast day, lest there be an uproar of the people. So when did they do it? They did it on the Passover night, didn't they? Yeah. Yeah. Let's look at another deceptive couple, man and wife. Let's go to Acts the 5th chapter. And let's read about Ananias and Sapphira. Acts 5:1. Y'all like in the video or the lesson, give me a like and subscribe to the channel. So we in Acts the 5th chapter, the first verse, it says, but a certain man named Ananias with Sapphira, his wife, sold a possession, right? Because they were supposed to, and I'll go back over this once I go through this and show you what, how we operated. But they sold a possession, right? And kept back part of the price, because they're supposed to lay the possession, whatever they sold, the possession, supposed to came and laid it at the apostles' feet. And distribution was supposed to be made as there was a need of our people. That's how we operated. But they kept back part of the price. His wife also being privately tutored. They both plotted, and brought a certain part and laid it at the apostles' feet. See? They're supposed to sold it and giving it all to the apostles for the people. They both plotted together to do this. Ananias and Sapphira, his wife, right? So, but Peter said, Ananias, why has Satan filled thine heart to lie to the Holy Spirit and to keep back part of the price of the land? Remember what we just read? Maybe some of you just coming in. Y'all coming in and going out. I don't know if you've heard it or not, but let me show you. Ecclesiastes 23:19. Such a man only feareth the eyes of men. A lot of y'all only fear how somebody look at you. How you looking at me? Make sure that you in on point with man and not the Most High. And the Mashiach Yahushua, it says, and knoweth not that the eyes of the Most High power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Jacob being the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel, are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, doing what? Beholding all the ways of men and considering the most secret parts, right? Understand this. It is what it is. Ecclesiastes 17:15. He said, their ways are ever before him. Ecclesiastes 17:15. He said, their ways are ever before him and shall not be hid from his eyes. See everything. You know what time it is. So the Most High's eyes are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men. So here it is, why Peter is saying, hey. And then you look at Amos. Let's go back there again. Amos 3 and 7. Amos 3 and 7. Amos 3 and 7. Surely the Most High will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets. You see, he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets. So that's why you're looking at Peter being able to be filled with the Spirit of the Most High, to be able to know that this is what they done. He wasn't there when they did it, but they plotted and said, we're going to keep back this. We're going to keep this money. We're giving all this money to them. Come on. We're going to keep some of this money. But that vow is very important. When you make that vow, you say you're going to do this, you got to do it. Before the Most High, you understand. That's why Acts 5 and 3. But Peter said, Ananias, why has Satan filled thine heart to lie to the Holy Spirit? See, this is what we're dealing with. These deceptors and deceptive people and liars and deceitful people dealing with this deception. What does it say? And we're looking at instances of deception within this lesson. It says, while it was remained, was it not thine own? So you held back part of what you said you're going to do. You vowed to do. You said, while you got the money, was it not your own? And after it was sold, was it not in thine own power? After it was sold, was it not in your own power to do what you say you're going to do and lay the money at the apostles' feet? Why hast thou conceived this thing in thine heart? Why you conceived this thing in your mind? That was not lied unto men, but unto the Most High. Because he vowed that vow before the Most High. Like everything we say and do is I don't think people realize that. That's why I start with Colossians 3:17, man. That's going through the throne of the Most High. That's how we reach the Most High. And Ananias, hearing these words, fell down and gave up the ghost. He fell down when he heard them words and died right there on the spot. Ananias, hearing these words, fell down and gave up the ghost. And great fear came on all of them that heard these things, right? They heard about this. Most of I get our attention with fear. I think that's a lesson I did. You can go to preach that one's called The Most High Get Our Attention with Fear, with Death, I think it's called. With death. But you see what happened? Great fear. What do you think that fear means? Because y'all say fear the Most High don't mean to be afraid of. This man fell down dead. What did it say? And great fear. They became afraid. They got scared. Came on all them that heard these things. And the young men arose, wound him up, and carried him out and buried him. No funeral, just wound him up and carried him out and buried him. Like you do a dog or something. You hear that? And the young men arose, wound him up, and carried him out and buried him. Anybody gonna weep for him, they're gonna come to that gravesite, wherever they buried him, right? Listen, verse 7. And it was about the space of 3 hours. 3 hours later, after they done wound him up and buried Ananias, When his wife, not knowing what was done, came in. 3 hours later, she like, hey, she came in. She didn't know that her husband, Ananias, is dead. They done wound him up and buried him. She don't know nothing about this. Here she come in. And Peter answered unto her, tell me whether ye sold the land for so much. Tell me. Did you say, he didn't already, Ananias had already told her, we sold them for, they got like 5,000. Said we sold it for 3,000. They kept 2,000, right? Tell me, you sold it for 3,000, right? And Peter answered her, tell me whether you sold the land for so much. And she said, yeah, for so much. Gave her that number to Ananias and threw at him, right? Then Peter said unto her, how is it that ye have agreed together to tempt the Spirit of the Most High? Behold, the feet of them which have buried thy husband are at the door, and shall carry thee out, just like you did your husband. Then fell she down straightway at his feet and yielded up the ghost, means she died right there on the spot. And the young men came in and found her dead and carried her forth, buried her by her husband. And great fear, tell me what this fear means, y'all. Since y'all think fear don't mean be afraid and be scared. And great fear came upon all the church and upon all as many as heard these things. See? And by the hands of the apostles were many signs and wonders wrought among the people. And they were all with one accord in Solomon's porch. That's serious. Look at Proverbs 12 and 19. Proverbs 12, 19. Proverbs 12 and 19. See, that's why you got to really look at this, because it's very important. This ain't no lies going to the kingdom. The lip of truth shall be established forever. The words of the truth, the Most High's laws, statutes, commandments, going to be established forever. But a lying tongue is but for a moment. You know that? Liars, they're going to just last for a moment. Deceit is in the heart of them that imagine evil. You know? So let you know that when you start to, that's why you got to be on point, because you looking at deceit is in your heart when you imagine evil. But to the consolers of peace is joy. You see, there should no evil happen to the just, those that are doing what the Most High says you're supposed to be doing, and keeping his laws, statutes, commandments, having faith in him, fearing him. There should no evil happen to the just, but the wicked shall be filled with mischief. The wicked gonna be filled with mischief. Looking how they can plot to do this, like we done went through. Looking at our people. This is our people we were talking about, Hazar was Syrian, but it's showing you, different scenarios of we as the Israelites being involved with these nations, or however it is that, we're wicked, they wicked, whatever. Just showing you wickedness, man, in those that are just. This is what it says. Deceit lies in the heart, the mind of them that imagine evil. See? And you see what happened. Look at verse 19 again. The lip of truth shall be established forever. If they would have told the truth, Ananias and Sapphira, they'd have been all right forever. But a lying tongue is but for a moment. How long did they last? Coming to telling that lie. Both of them fell down dead just for a moment. Boom. Just how much you sold it for? Oh, yeah. Why are you going to lie to the Holy Spirit? Why you lie? And he let you know how Satan works. He get into the minds and have people lie. You get into the minds and have, things happen that against the truth. That's how you operate. You get into the minds, y'all. And that's where you see your heart. Let me make sure y'all understand. I've been saying that the heart is the mind, your thoughts. Let me prove that so you'll know that in the scripture, because a lot of times, we regurgitate things, but we don't know how to prove it. This is how you prove it. Mark 7th chapter, the 21st verse. It's proved that the heart represents your thoughts. You see it a lot in the scripture because the heart just beating, pumping blood to every organ in your body, Well, here it is. This is what the heart means in most cases in the Bible. Mark 7:21. I must define it because we done heard it, throughout this lesson. And it's Mark 7:21. For from within, out of the heart of men, proceed evil thoughts. You see that? For from within, out of the heart of men, proceed evil thoughts. You see? And he goes on to say adulteries, fornications, murderers. Because you got to think about these things before you commit these things. Thefts, covetousness, wickedness, deceit. That's what we're talking about. Deceit, right? Fit right into the mind. The lie. You got to think about a lie before you say the lie or do the lie. I mean, something happens behind you lying. You're right. Deceit, lasciviousness, an evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness. All these evil things come from within your mind and defile the man. See that? So that's what he's letting us know. Going back to Proverbs 12. It's verse 20 says, deceit is in the heart of them that imagine evil. You see? And that's what they were doing. Everybody that you see in this lesson, you go back and look, they imagine evil. But to the counselors of peace is joy. There shall no evil happen to the just, but the wicked shall be filled with mischief. Say, lying lips are abomination unto the Most High. Hear that? Lying lips are abomination, a filthy wicked act to the Most High. But they that deal truly in the truth are his delight. You see? That's why it's very important that we speak the truth. Don't speak no lie. Proverbs 19:5. A false witness shall not be unpunished. Or someone that lying on someone shall not be unpunished. You lying on your brother shall not be unpunished. And he that speaketh lies shall not escape. So you ain't gonna escape. I'll tell you, my favorite scriptures, Hebrews 10:31. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. It's a fearful thing. You ain't gonna escape. What my Shadow Shot said. Go to better ask somebody. Say you ain't gonna escape. That's why he said St. John 10:29. St. John 10:29. Look what he said. He said, my Father, which gave them me, is greater than all. And no man is able to pluck them out of my Father's hand. You hear what he said? No man is able to pluck them out of my Father's hands. That's hand. What that's if you in his hand for righteousness, or you in his hand for his wrath and his wickedness. Man, that's why it's very important that you see this, man. Shoot, man. You can't really you can't go wrong. Stay focused on what it is that we need to do. Please the Most High. I know that. Hebrews 10:31. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the Most High power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the living power. It's a fearful thing. You say, much I told you, once you in the hand of the Most High, what you think? You gonna get out? He gonna let you go and say, what he say? He gonna let you, he say, you ain't gonna escape. Ain't that what he just said? You will not escape. What's your method of escaping from the Most High once he got you in his hand? Huh? What's your strategy? Y'all always have some kind of strategies going on. What's your strategy to get out of the hand of the Most High? Hmm? Talk to me. And you think about so many people that are really going back to Proverbs 6:12. Um, and where are we at? Yeah. Um, Look at verse 26. Proverbs 12:26. The righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, right? So the righteous is more excellent than his neighbor. So just in case some new people are coming in, we want to define righteousness. Deuteronomy 6:25. So when you see righteous, you know this is what it's talking about, especially you that's been brain polluted in Christian sanity, where they say you're not under the law, you're under the commandments. So you might not even know what righteousness is. You'll make up your own words and give it a definition of what it means. And here it is, the definition clearly right here in the law, Deuteronomy 6:25. It said, and it shall be our righteousness if, that's a condition, we observe to do all these commandments before the Most High, our power, as he hath commanded us, right? So to be righteous, you got to keep the commandments of the Most High. Psalms 119, 172. My tongue shall speak of thy word, for all thy commandments are righteousness. You see? So that defines righteousness, the commandments that the Most High wrote with his finger. Deuteronomy 9 and 10. Look, Deuteronomy 9 and 10. And the Most High delivered unto me 2 tables of stone written with the finger of the Most High. And on them was written according to all the words which the Most High spake with you in the mount out of the midst of the fire in the day of the assembly. So these commandments were written with the finger of the Most High. That's why it's amazing how anyone could just think in their wildest dreams that they just can listen to someone that say you don't have to follow what he gave us 613 laws. And he's telling you throughout the Bible, you know, do what I say do. He said the prophets would tell us, tell Israel to do what I say do. Or I'm going to visit them. Exodus 31:18. Exodus 31 and 18. And he gave unto Moses, when he had made an end of communing with him upon Mount Sinai, 2 tables of testimony, tables, 2 tables of testimony, tables of stone, written with the finger of the Most High. Don't y'all let nobody tell you that you ain't got to do what he say do. That's what they telling you. You ain't got to follow him, but they tell you to follow the preacher. That's why I see a lot of bing, they leaving. They don't want to hear that. They don't hear that law. Probably has a bunch of Christian sanity people up in here. They don't want to hear nothing about you got to keep the Most High's law. Y'all don't love the Most High. What he saying, 1 John 5 and 3. If thou can say. But this is the love of the Most High, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. See? This is the love of the Most High, that we keep his commandments, and commandments are not grievous. You won't be sad in doing what he say do, that's right. You just coming in, it says, 1 John 5:3. It says, for this is the love of the Most High, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. Now, Mashiach Shai said in St. John 14:15, he said, if you love me, keep my commandments. It's not going to change. How you going to be like a Mashiach Yahushua and don't do what he did in keeping the commandments of the Most High? He didn't sin. So if he didn't sin, then how do you think you're going to be just being able to do whatever you want to do? And it's cool. It's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay, people. It's not okay. That's why the Spirit had me going into deceit and these lies that people have told, man. Think it's all right, man. Y'all better lock it to the Most High. He'll only help. He'll only hope. He'll only help, man. Look, Hebrews 6:11. And we desire that every one of you do show the same diligence to the full assurance of hope unto the end. Hear that? He wants to be diligent to the full assurance of hope. That's our faith unto the end, that you be not slothful, but followers of them who through faith and patience inherit the promises. You see? When you look at the things that our forefathers were able to receive, and they have a book written about them with their name on it, not our names. They have a book written with their names on it. That's how the Most High looked at them. He gave them, you know, his word. And for the time that they lived, the understanding of what they had to go through and what we got to go through. Like now, you should know the prophecies of what to look for. So you ready. You ain't got to get ready. You be ready. You always ready, because you can look at what the signs are to know. And I'll be wondering why people don't really inquire about that. Why you want to know more? Why you desire to know more? How you going to make it? And it's like he come back and say, well, do you know this? And this is your plight of making it to the kingdom. Break this down. What's going on here? What's going on there? Do you know me? How do you know me? I'm not ever shy judge. And he says, how you know me? He's asked you, how you know me? Show me me. Show me my Father. From Genesis to Revelation 22 and 21. Show me him. What does this mean? What does this mean? You never desired to know? All of a sudden, you're going to all of a sudden want to know when he come to judge and make war? Then your mind going to say, I want to know more. Then he'll teach you more, and you don't want to know more than what you know now? You're just waiting on somebody to come in and just, I guess you figure it's going to fall from the sky. It's not. He said that you be not slothful, but followers of them who through faith and patience inherit the promises. Say something that you got to look at, that this ain't no Christian sanity, man. This ain't no religion, man. It's a lot to learn. It's like so much to learn. And it's like taken so lightly. Like, you think coming to class or doing whatever you do once a week, twice a week, how much time do you put into this? Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. Something from something leaves something. Got to put this time in. That's why I say that you be not slothful. Don't be lazy when it comes down to this, man, but followers of them who through faith and patience inherit the promises. He's telling you, verse 10, he say, for the Most High is not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love, of doing what he say do, keeping his commandments, which he have showed toward his name. But y'all ain't showing that much of toward his name because ain't anybody talking about him. Howdy. Y'all back to all praises, 2025. Which he has showed toward his name. How you showed anything toward his name? Just talking about all praises. And that ye have ministered to the saints and do minister. You know, telling somebody about this truth. Some kind of means to be able to reach out to people, to be able to help them see the light, or just putting your brick in part of the body of Mashiach side. Because I mean, it's so, when I look at this, I'm here, it's like, I got flashbacks of so many people. And here it is in verse 4. It says, for it is impossible with those who were once enlightened, like all of you are enlightened right now, and have tasted of the heavenly gift, and were made partakers of the Holy Spirit, and have tasted the good word of the Most High and the powers of the world to come. You've learned that these brothers and sisters have learned about the prophecies of, the breakdowns of these scriptures and so forth. They know about the prophecies of the world to come, the kingdom. Esau's the end of the world, Jacob's the beginning of it, that follow it. They looked at what followed this world that we in now, and no one looking at what's going to happen this way and that way. And they just, poof, they out of here. And have tasted the good word of the Most High and the powers of the world to come, if they shall fall away, to renew them again unto repentance, saying they crucified of themselves the Son of the Most High, or Mashiach Yahushua, freshly crucified him, man, and put him to an open shame. That's sad, man. People have done that because they follow lies. They follow people that led them astray, led them straight astray. That's what the world is set up, to send you straight to damnation with it if you're not really strong. There's no reason why anyone should fall away and get weak and can't, come in. Only thing I can say is your pride would have you do that. Your pride gonna have you burn in the lake of fire with the devil, because he's prideful. And he set up his people to be prideful. This ain't for everyone. That's why Mashiach said in St. John 16, and verse 25, he said, these things have I spoken unto you in Proverbs. And we went to a lot of Proverbs tonight. But a time cometh when I shall no more speak unto you in Proverbs, but I shall show you plainly of the Father, if we are worthy. That's what it's about. At that day you shall ask in my name, and I say not unto you that I will pray the Father for you, for the Father himself loveth you, because ye have loved me, and have believed that I came out from the Most High. I came forth from the Father and am come into the world. Again, I leave the world and go to the Father. The disciples said unto him, lo, now speaketh thou plainly and speaketh no proverbs. He said, hey, look, I'm leaving up out of here. I'm going to the Most High. And where am I going? I'm going to the right hand. I'm going to sit on the right-hand side of the Most High. The disciples said unto him, lo, now speaketh thou plainly and speaketh no proverb. Now are we sure that thou knowest all things, and needeth not that any man should ask thee. By this we believe that thou came forth from the Most High. Mashiach answered them, do you now believe? Behold, the hour cometh, yeah, it is now come, that ye shall be scattered, every man to his own, and shall leave me alone. And yet I am not alone, because the Father is with me. He said, when come the time when they come to get me, y'all gonna scatter out. Y'all talk all that stuff like a lot of people, they talk, I done heard them say this, that, and the third, whatever. When it came down to get down and be down, ran. Or didn't do nothing. Or when the time go down, they're gonna sell you out, as it is written. He said, y'all gonna run every man to his own and shall leave me alone. Hear that? And yet I am not alone, because the Father is with me. These things I have spoken unto you, that in me ye might have peace. In the world ye shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. And that's why he told us in Revelation 3:20. Say you overcome the world. This is just a temporary plight that we're dealing with right now anyway. It says Revelation 3:20. He said, behold, I stand at the door. He said, he stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcometh. See, that's the thing that we got to deal with. Overcoming. He that overcometh will I grant to sit with me in my throne. See, even as I also overcame, he said, hey, he conquered the world. He overcame the world, and am set down with my Father in his throne. See? He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit said unto the churches. And the churches are the 12 tribes of Israel. Straight up. So you said, to him that overcometh. You got to overcome something. Show you something you got to overcome. That's real. First Peter 5:8. It said, be sober, be focused, and don't be no drunkard. Be vigilant. You got to be diligent. You got to be vigilant. Because your adversary, your enemy, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. Hear that? You got to overcome this. You got to overcome this. Whom resist steadfast in the faith, believing in the Most High, knowing that the same afflictions are accomplished in your brethren that are in the world. See? But the Most High know. He never give you more than what you can bear. You just got to be ready. And don't allow, the devil to have control of you. That's why when you look at Mashiach Shai, when he fasted for 40 days and 40 nights, here comes the devil. It's very important. We can't go over this enough, because I notice that most people don't go over this. They don't really look at what it is that, I read the Bible for solutions. And it's very important that hopefully, this will be a part of your curriculum and what it is that works, because the big deceiver is the devil. Wouldn't you say? The most biggest deceiver is the devil. So how do you overcome him? Let's go to Matthew, the 4th chapter, and bring this out before we close. The first verse, Matthew 4:1. This is how you overcome the devil. Saying, rebuke the devil, he shall flee, but how you rebuke him, you don't even know what a Mashiach Shai did to get rid of the devil. And you got to think about it. When you see what he done, and you think about how this world is being taught, and how your mind and your family members and your friends and associates that's in Christian insanity, how they think, it should make sense to you, hopefully. If you have, eyes to see and ears to hear. This ain't for everyone. Matthew 4:1. Then was the Mashiach led up of the spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil, right? So he's being tempted of the devil. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward hungry. And when the tempter, that's the devil, Satan, came to him, he said, if thou be the Son of the Most High, command that these stones be made bread, right? He hungry. He said, you be the Son of the Most High, command that these stones be made bread. So you got something to eat, right? But he answered and said, this is key, this is solutions. Read the Bible for solutions. But he answered and said, this him fighting against the devil. It is written. Hear that? It is written. Where will it be written at? Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Most High. Right? It is written. So this is a way to rebuke the devil, since y'all got all these spirits that you're dealing with, around you or dealing with you inside you, whatever it is that he's messing with you in your life. Amasha Shai said, it is written. The solution. He went to Deuteronomy 8:3. He went to the law that the Most High wrote with his finger. You see how this tie in? He went to the law. That's why a lot of times, things were said, I would take you to the law. Because this is what we're going by as a people. The commandments of the Most High that he wrote with his finger. Look, Deuteronomy 8:3. And he humbled thee and suffered thee to hunger and fed thee with manna, which thou knewest not, neither did thy fathers know, that he might make thee know that man does not live by bread only. This is what he quoting, the law. But by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Most High does man live. So he went to the law to rebuke the devil one time, right? So now I ask you, if you're taught you're not under the law, you have to follow the law, then how can you rebuke the devil? This is what he used. Give me some answers. Talk to me. Let's go back to Matthew 8. I'm 4 chapter, verse 5. I'm looking for some answers. Y'all not responding. Y'all know everything. Y'all in Christian insanity, y'all call it. So make it so it's not. Because he went to the law just now, right? To rebuke the devil. And that's the same thing you're taught that you're not under. You're not under, but you're under grace. Grace is only for the Israelites. Period. Mercy is only for the Israelites. I can prove that through scripture. So look what it says. Verse 5, Matthew 4:5. Then the devil taketh him up into the holy city and set him on a pinnacle of the temple and said unto him, if thou be the Son of the Most High, cast thyself down, for it is written, he shall give his angels charge concerning thee, and in their hands they shall bear thee up, lest at any time thou dash thy foot against a stone. So where did the devil go to? Did he go to the law? Or did he go to some other verse in the Bible? And he do know the Bible, but he didn't go to the law. He went to Psalms, the 91st chapter, the 11th and 12th verse. That's where he went to. Let's go there. It's very important because you got these liars and deceivers and people that are dealing with evil that you got to know how to rebuke them. Psalm 91:11. This is what he quoted. For he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands. This is what he said. Lest thou dash thy foot against a stone, right? So he's trying to get up my side, defy gravity. Defy, go up on the pinnacle and cast yourself down. An angel gonna catch you in their hands. Look what my side told him though. Matthew 4:7. My side said to him, It is written again, thou shalt not tempt the Most High in thy power. Hear that? It is written again, thou shalt not tempt the Most High in thy power. Deuteronomy 6:16. Going back to the law again. Deuteronomy 6:16. How y'all gonna really deal with, that's why a lot of y'all rolling with the devil, because y'all don't know what it is that, y'all don't know much like the other side like this. And you see what he's doing, you're gonna see. If you don't see, it ain't for you to see. Hopefully you will see. Deuteronomy 6:16. You shall not tempt the Most High your power, as he tempted him in Massa, right? Deuteronomy 10:20. The law still. He went to the law, here go the law again. Deuteronomy 10:20. Thou shalt fear the Most High. You better be afraid and scared of the Most High, thy power. Him shalt thou serve, and to him shalt thou cleave and swear by his name. That's what he used, the law against the devil. Now we're going to go to Matthew 4:11. What happened? Then the devil leaveth him. You see that? Then the devil leaveth him. And behold, angels came and ministered unto him. But you see what he did? He used the law against the devil. The devil cannot deal with the law. That's why you have to understand. Y'all gotta see this, because you can read the laws out loud. I put it on where you have a Bible app, and let it play in your house. The laws. Let the laws play in your house. You got spirits, you got things that you're dealing with, you're afraid of this or whatever you're dealing with. Well, the Most High don't give us the spirit of fear, but read the laws out loud. Let it come through you. Start doing that. Read the laws out loud. You can read from Genesis to Deuteronomy, and you'll see the comfort that you can receive in your home. That's what he used against the devil, the law. He went to the law. A lot of y'all not spiritual, so you're not going to really understand that, period. And you that are will understand. You do what he said, do what he did. He said what? St. John 14:15, he said, if you love me, keep my commandments. Do what I say, do. You can't go wrong with doing what he doing, what he does, and what he done. Look, 2 Chronicles 7. 2 Chronicles 7 and 14. 2 Chronicles 7:14. It says, if my people, who are the 12 tribes of Israel, which are called by my name, we're called by Yah, Sha'ala, shall humble themselves. That's the first thing he tells us we got to do. Humble ourselves. Don't be prideful. Humble yourself. And pray. And seek my face. Because in Hosea 5:15, the Most High said, I'm going to go to my place until we acknowledge our offense and seek his face. Let you know he turned his face away from us. In our affliction, we're going to seek him early. So we tell him, you got to seek his face by doing what he say do. And turn from their wicked ways. Lying and being deceptive and dealing with deceit. Then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and will heal their land. That's what we want, y'all. Now mine eyes shall be open and my ears should be attentive unto the prayer that is made in this place, man. That's powerful, man. Ecclesiasticus, the 2nd chapter in the Apocrypha. We're going to look at verse 1. It says, my son, if thou come to serve the Most High, It says, prepare thy soul for temptation. Just like Mashiach Shai, he was 30 years old. He was 30 years old. That's when the priesthood, the minister began. The ministers and ministering the word of the Most High began, 30 to 50. And after 50 years old, you are an elder. Tells you that in Numbers, the 4th chapter. He said, my son, when you come to serve the Most High, prepare that soul for temptation. But he said, prepare yourself for the devil, just like he was prepared for the devil. And I just showed you what works. The laws of the Most High, the commandments of the Most High, the same commandments they saying that you're not under. So you're not really going to be able to rebuke the devil. You ain't going to be able to rebuke Satan because you don't know what works. To rebuke him, just rebuke you. Come on, man. You're going to laugh at you. There was a time when, it was those that figured that, they knew something. And they going to rebuke the devil, right? Mm-hmm. And what happened? They end up having to deal with being dealt with. This ain't no joke, y'all. This is real. This is real. This is a real deal. My side made things visible and invisible. And when you understand how serious it is and what is operating on this earth against us right now, you better know, man. It's real deal. That's why look at let me find this for you. When we look at how everybody in this Bible went through something, man. It's not no easy task. We'll say when you come to serve the Most High, what do he say? Prepare your soul for temptation, man. You got to prepare your soul for temptation, for the devil. Just like Mashiach Shai, he went through it. Hey, it said in Isaiah 53:10, it pleased the Most High to bruise him. That's real serious, y'all. So who are we compared to a Mashiach Yahushua, the Son of the Most High? Man. Just know you got to endure to the end. Don't give up. Don't give in. Don't give up. Don't ever give in. Don't give up. I mean, it was beat down and they went through a lot, man. Look at this in Acts the 19th chapter. I'm gonna start at verse 13. It says, then certain of the vagabond Jews, exorcists, took upon them to call over them which had evil spirits, the name of Mashiach Yahushua, Bashama Mashiach Yahushua, right? Saying, we assure you by Mashiach Yahushua, who Paul preaches, right? That's why it's very important to be in the spirit and know exactly sure how you're supposed to be dealing. So what they saying, call themselves exorcists, vagabond Jews, exorcists, right? Took upon them to call over them which had evil spirits. They got evil spirits, these demons in them, right? By Shama Mashiach Yahushua in the name of the Lord and Savior. Saying, we adjure you by Mashiach Yahushua, whom Paul preaches, right? And there were 7 sons of one Sceva, a Jew, and chief of the priests, which did so, right? 7 sons. 7 sons, 7 men. And the evil spirit answered and said, listen, Mashiach Yahushua I know. And Paul I know. But who are you? Who are you? Right? And the man in whom the evil spirit was leaped on them and overcame them and prevailed against them, so that they fled out of that house naked and wounded, tearing their butts up. 7 sons, one evil spirit, but it was 7 sons, 7 men, one evil spirit. And the man in whom the evil spirit was leaped on them. That's 7 men, one spirit, one evil spirit. And the man in whom the evil spirit was leaped on them and overcame them and prevailed against them, so that they fled out of that house naked and wounded, tore their butts up. And this was known to all the Jews and Greeks, which are the Israelites, also dwelling at Ephesus. And fear fell on them all. What do you think that fear means? What do you think that fear means? It said, fear fell on them all. What do you think that fear means? You think they wasn't afraid? Because we ask what the fear of the Most High is. Y'all got all kind of explanations except for to be afraid and be scared of him. But when they seen that one evil spirit jumped on them 7 men, and they ran out naked and wounded. And this was known to all the Jews and Greeks, which are Israelites, Hellenized Israelites, also dwelling at Ephesus. And I can prove that after I deal with this. And fear fell on them all. They got scared. They were afraid. In the name of mighty Mashiach Yahushua was magnified. You see. And many that believed came and confessed their sins and showed their deeds. Many of them also, which used curious arts, brought their books together and burned them before all men. And they counted the price of them and found it 50,000 pieces of silver. Hear that? 50,000 pieces of silver of all this witchcraft and sorcery and all those books that they had to be able to do all this stuff on the left-hand side. They burned them right in front of them. So mighty grew the word of the Most High and prevailed. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, going back to Ecclesiasticus 2:1, he said, my son, if thou come to serve the Most High, prepare thy soul for temptation. You got to prepare yourself for the devil. Set thy heart aright, set your mind aright. We already defined heart as your way you think, your thoughts. Set your mind right and constantly endure. That's what Mashiach Shai told us. Matthew 24th chapter. Constantly endure, he said. You know, that's why I look at, you know, it's sad because you would never think that people would not endure of old. They didn't endure. Matthew 24 and 13. Matthew 24 and 13. He said, but he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. Can't give up, man. Verse 12 said, and because iniquity, wickedness shall abound. You see all this wickedness in this world, the love of many shall wax cold. That's why you see people flip just like that. Boom. He said, because iniquity shall be plentiful in the earth, the love of many shall wax cold. You can't fall into that category, man. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. That's why he said, Ecclesiastes 2:2, set thy heart, set your mind aright, and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble. What are you going to run to? You say, don't run in the time of trouble. How many people have ran when it's time of trouble? They out there. They finish, like he said. It tell you it's hard to bring them back if they've been, you done tasted of the holy word of the Most High, and now here you done went out there and went backwards. That's why I tell you in 2 Peter's 2:20, where after they have escaped the pollutions of the world, You know, this world is polluted. He said, you escape the pollutions of the world through the knowledge of our power and Savior, or Mashiach Yahushua. You don't learn all about what you need to be knowing to try and make it to the kingdom. They are again entangled therein. You going backwards into the world, or looking at the world. You at war with the Most High. You ain't rolling with the Most High. That make you be at war with the Most High. James 4:4 says, "Come on, and overcome. The latter end is worse." You hear that? The latter end is worse with them than the beginning. That's why it's so heartfelt, because the fact of I've seen this happen all the way to death. You hear what I'm saying? They heard it, they learned it, lived and applied in their life, and they turned back into some other degenerate plant of this world, man, the evilness that's in this world, and the Most High killed them. That's hurtful, man. Would have been better for them not to have known the way of righteousness than, after they have known it, to turn from the holy commandment delivered unto them. But it has happened unto them according to the true proverb. The dog, he look at you as a dog. The dog has turned to his own vomit again. In the soul, the nasty, filthy McNasty pig. Let me get it right. That was washed through the word of the Messiah. Messiah told us in John 15:3, now you are clean through the words that are speaking to you. To her wallowing in the myrrh, wallowing in the slop, man. That's how he look at you, man. Those, and it's like, you know, you want the best for our people, but it is what it is, y'all. Look at 2 Peter 2:9. He say the Most High know how to deliver the righteous out of temptations. That's why it's when we just read. In Ecclesiastes 2:1, it says, my son, if thou come to serve the Most High, prepare thy soul for temptation. He say the Most High know how to deliver the righteous, those that are keeping his laws, statutes, commandments, out of temptations. You know, all the works of the devil that we got to look out for. The Most High know how to get you out of the works of the devil, the wiles of the devil. Tell me you don't. You just said he do. The Most High know how to deliver the righteous out of temptations. And he reserved the unjust. He reserved the unjust, those that are not righteous, those that are not keeping the commandments of the Most High. All you that say we ain't under the Most High's law, we ain't got to do what he say do. Is that what you're saying? And he reserved the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished. He reserved the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished. Where you gonna be at? Where you want to be at? You know? Going back to Ecclesiastes 2. Verse 3, he said, cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Because we got next forever and ever and ever. The kingdom was already prepared for us. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully. You know? A lot of people can't do that. You know, a lot of people they can't really take whatever it is that the Most High bring upon them cheerfully. They just go into this deep depressing of spirits. He said, whatever Most High bring upon thee, take cheerfully. And when this works, it's spiritually, but it really, really works. So whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully. And be patient. That take time, y'all. When thou art changed to a lower state, things start to happen. That's why he said, don't run. He said, don't make haste in the time of trouble. He said, be patient. You gotta be patient. So where you gonna run? If you gonna run, you're gonna run, you're gonna be running to the sky. Wherever you at, you're gonna see the sky. The Most High is everywhere. I mean, where you gonna run from him? How you gonna hide from him? Come on. He said, for gold is tried in the fire, verse 5. and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. Come on, you think you're gonna go through something less than what everybody else has been through? Hmm? He said, in your affliction, you're gonna seek me early. You know, everybody gonna have to go through the same afflictions, but you're gonna go through something. He said, hey, for gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. You're gonna be going through some changes. You got to deal with it. Believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way right and trust in him. Have faith in the Most High. And don't be deceived by this world. The world is set up to send you straight to a damnation with it. Don't allow that to happen. He said, you that fear the Most High, you that's afraid and scared of the Most High, wait for his mercy. You're not getting something to do to it. And go not aside lest you fall. You that fear the Most High again and again and again. Believe him, and your reward shall not fail. You that fear the Most High, we saying it over and over and over again. You better be afraid and scared of the Most High. You that fear the Most High, hope for good and for everlasting joy and mercy. Yes. Look at the generation of old and see. We looked at the generation of old and see. On another side, though, did ever any trust in the Most High and was confounded? Was anyone ever trust in the Most High was confused? Anyone that we read about today? That really was down with the Most High was confused? I don't think so. Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? You hear that? Do you see how important this is? So why do you think the Most High forsaken so many people? Because they're not abiding his fear. They don't fear the Most High. They don't even talk about the Most High. He's just an object of someone that they go to try and get whatever they want, and then tell them so be it at the end of it, whatever they ask for. Call it on Zeus. That's his last name, Amen. Y'all know that? Zeus, that Greek god, idol name, is Zeus, Amen. So that's what you call it on when you call on Amen. Zeus, straight up. Going all the way back to Amenra, Egyptian idol. He said, look at the generation of old, verse 10, and see, did ever any trust in the Most High, have faith in the Most High, and was confounded, confused, or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? You hear this? You don't abide in his fear, you're going to be forsaken. He's saying, anybody abide in his fear, being afraid of the Most High, scared of the Most High, it was forsaken? Because you're afraid, you're scared of something, you're going to do what he say do. You're taught not to do what he say do, therefore you're not taught to fear the Most High in these religions and so forth. Or did he abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? His name is jealous. Y'all understand that? His name is jealous. He loved to be talked about. He loved to be boasted about instead of you talking about yourself all the time. Me, never talking about the Most High. But then still, you done ask them, you done pray. You get your prayer warriors, y'all pray all the time. You pray, but you ain't got nothing to say after you pray. You don't bring forth what it is, how does work, man. Let me show you how it works. And we're gonna get out of here because people have been lied to too much, and I don't want you to be feeling, you know, that your method that you're doing is gonna be all right when it's not. It's very, very important that you see what works. Most say gave us guidelines throughout the Bible. I mean, it's here. It's just a matter of where we at. You know, where we at as a people. Um, well, you can't be deceived. You know, you got to look at this for what it is and take this spiritually to your dome and your thoughts, to your heart, I'll say. Okay? To your thoughts. Mark 11:22-26. It says, and the Master was saying, answering, said unto them, have faith in the Most High. Mark 11:22-26. You got to have faith in the Most High. You got to fear him, y'all. We just read that. For verily I say unto you, so much I was telling us that whosoever shall say unto this mountain, this problem, these spirits you're dealing with, be thou removed and be thou cast into the sea, and shall not doubt in his heart. Not doubt in his heart. You lying to yourself. We talking about deception. You deceiving yourself when you say to this mountain or whatever problem is, be thou removed, and you doubt. You just said have faith in the Most High. Now you done cast the Most High out. People talking about worry. I ain't worried since I was out of high school. Talk about some worry. I ain't worried, man. I might be concerned about something, but I ain't gonna be to the point where it's like I'm worrying. Believe that. Because he said what? First thing he said was have faith in the Most High. I had to live on faith. Can't tell me, nobody would tell me about my faith in the Most High. I tell you, man, you gotta have faith in the Most High. You talk about him, he's gonna come through for you. I'll tell you that. You ain't got nothing to say about him. Why should he come through for you? Only thing you got to say something to him whenever you're talking to him about what you want him to do. In the end, you're gonna say, "You heard what I said, so be it." Think about that. Come on, y'all better understand, man. That's why I say you better be humble. He said, "For verily I say unto you, this is my side telling us that whosoever shall say unto this mountain, you got to say it. He ain't say think. He said say it. Be thou removed and be thou cast into the sea, and shall not doubt in his heart. In your mind, you can't doubt in your mind, but shall believe, that's your faith in the Most High, that those things which he said, he ain't say think, he said, what you say shall come to pass. Ye shall have whatsoever he said. That's why all you negative people that talk about this negative, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear no negative. No way, because that's what you're going to get. Negative. You're going to have whatever you say. He said. Bro, you say have faith in the Most High, so you can pray to the Most High. Like how people say, coming to me with this, that, and that, say, you pray on it? Did you pray on it? You prayed on it? Now, where your faith at? What you pray for? If you don't believe that the Most High is going to come through for you, well, you got to say what it is that he going to tell you here. You got to say it, man. He said, look, therefore I say unto you, he's talking to us, what things soever you desire, when you pray, believe, that's your faith in the Most High, that you receive them and you shall have them. How you going to pray for something you don't even believe you're going to get it? What's the point of praying? Nobody commenting. Y'all ain't talking to me. I mean, I'll be asking all kind of questions throughout my lesson. Nobody really answers my questions. You know, what's the point of praying if you don't believe what you're going to receive what you're praying for? The Most High got to believe that you, to give you what you want that you don't even believe you're going to get. Make that make sense. Most High will give you what you want that you don't even believe that you're going to get. That's why he said, therefore I say to you, what things soever you desire, when you pray, believe that you receive them and ye shall have them. Come on, man. You got to say it, you know, through the power of the Most High. This going to happen. Bam. And when you stand praying, this is what it say, forgive. This is a condition. This is a condition that a lot of people probably can't do because they got all these hanks of grudges and problems with people, man. They say you got to forgive when you stand praying. If you have problems against any, that your Father also, which is in heaven, may forgive you your trespasses. You want your prayers to be answered, but here you are going to the Most High and you got attitude or some kind of problem with somebody and you think the Most High don't know that? Remember earlier, we read a couple of times, I believe, in this lesson, his eyes are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men, and even the secret parts. Hear what it said? So when you stand praying, you got to forgive. If you have aught against any, that your Father also, which is in heaven, may forgive you your trespasses, your sins, the things that you have done. But if you do not forgive, neither will your Father, which is in heaven, forgive your trespasses. You see that? He ain't gonna forgive you. That's how this works, y'all. You gotta know this. But you just meditate on that from Matthew, no, it's Mark 11:22-26. Meditate on that, because it's very important that y'all see this, because it works. It works. What you have been given, it works. You just got to have faith to believe in the Most High. You have faith to believe in the Most High, you see it's going to work. It will work. Look at Matthew 6:33. It says, but seek ye first the kingdom of the Most High and his righteousness. And we define righteousness in Deuteronomy 6:25. And all these things shall be added unto you, which is keeping the commandments of the Most High. Kind, welcome. Y'all like the lesson. You say, therefore, you say, take therefore no thought for tomorrow. Don't worry about what's going to happen tomorrow. For tomorrow shall take thought for the things of itself. This is what we say, sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. You hear that? Sufficient for the day, unto the day is the evil thereof. It's going to be evil tomorrow. That's why we got to be able to deal with the righteousness of the Most High. That's why he's saying, you know, seek the kingdom of the Most High and his righteousness, and his laws, statute, commandments. That's righteousness. And all these things shall be added unto you. Whatever you stand praying you want, you come back to his laws, statute, commandments, everything that you pray for, you can have. But you got to be aware. And with that, I hope that was edifying. We're going to continue on with many topics. We have classes on the first day at 2 p.m. Pacific time, and on the second day of the week at 9 p.m. Pacific time. And my class is on the fourth day and the Sabbath night, as you're here with me tonight, at 7 p.m. Pacific time. And we'll be street teaching tomorrow at 1:30 Pacific time. And with that, I say, in Tawada for joining me for the Shabbat. And tune in. We'll be right here tomorrow, most I will, at 1:30 Pacific time, 4:30 Eastern time. I think it'll be about 3:30 Central time and 2:30 Mountain time, something like that. So I say, Crumb Most High, rise Most High. Crumb Mashiach Yahweh, rise of Mashiach Yahweh, and Crumb Yasharala, and I'm out. Shalom. The water.